All right, let's get into it. Today, we're diving deep into Path of Exile 2. Specifically, how to really make your mercenary shine
Ooh, yes.
with support gems.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got a great guide here aimed at beginners, so if you're just starting out,
Yeah,
you'll want to stick around for this.
for sure.
By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap. No matter what kind of build you want to run, you're going to know how to really boost your mercenaries' effectiveness.
That's right.
But even if you're a seasoned player, maybe you can pick up a few tips and tricks along the way.
Yeah, you're never too experienced to learn something new,
Yeah.
especially in a game as deep as Path of Exile 2.
Absolutely. So let's get started with the early game. What are those must-have support gems when you're just starting out with your mercenary?
Well, right out of the gate, one gem kind of jumps out as like the MVP for early game.
Okay.
Multiple projectiles.
Okay, so now
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know multiple projectiles. You're thinking, wait a minute, that reduces the damage per projectile.
Exactly.
Why would I want that?
Yeah, it sounds counterintuitive at first,
Right.
but especially early on, you're fighting a lot of smaller, faster enemies.
Right.
And the key here is that multiple projectiles just increases the chances that your mercenary is going to actually hit those targets.
It's about the number of hits.
Exactly. More projectiles, more chances to connect.
And ultimately, more damage overall, right?
Exactly. You're trading a bit of damage per hit for a much higher hit rate, and in the early game, that's often the winning strategy.
Awesome. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Now, another choice that players often face early on is faster attacks versus faster casting.
Yeah.
Is that a pretty straightforward decision?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it kind of depends on how your mercenary is primarily fighting.
Okay,
If they're melee, up close and personal, swinging a sword or an axe,
right.
you're going to want faster attacks. Just get those swings happening quicker, landing more blows.
Right,
If they're more of a spellcaster,
right.
then faster casting is going to be your friend. Again, same idea. Speed up those casts, get more spells flying.
Got it. So faster attacks for melee, faster casting for spells.
Pretty much. Just remember, though, both gems, they do come with a tiny trade-off.
Okay.
You sacrifice a little bit of power for that extra speed.
A little less damage per attack or per cast.
Exactly.
Got it. Now, I know when I first started playing, I was always drawn to those like added damage support gems.
Yes.
Added fire damage, added cold damage. Should we be grabbing a bunch of those right away?
Well, it's tempting, right? You see all these different elements and you think, oh, I want to cover all my bases.
Yeah.
But especially early on, focus is key.
Okay.
Pick one elemental damage type. Cold, fire, lightning, chaos,
Yeah.
whatever fits your build,
Right.
and stick with it.
Okay, so like added cold damage is only going to be good if my mercenary is actually using cold attack.
Precisely. Don't spread yourself too thin.
Yeah.
Concentrate your power for maximum impact.
Awesome. Okay, so we've laid a solid foundation with those early game gems, but now we're starting to level up. Our mercenary's getting stronger. What happens in mid to late game?
Well, things get a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
As your mercenary grows, you start looking at gems that complement their specific skills
Right. Okay.
and play style. For instance, let's say you're rocking a build that eats up ammo like crazy.
Right.
Explosive arrow,
Oh, yeah.
fun skill, right? But you do not want to run out of arrows mid-fight, especially against a boss.
No, no.
So there's a gem for that, ammo conservation.
Okay, so that helps us kind of,
Keeps you in the action.
yeah, keeps those arrows stocked.
Exactly.
Love that. Okay. What other interesting gems come into play later on?
Well, let me ask you this. You ever see your mercenary just kind of go off? Attack bounces from one enemy to the next, just clearing out a whole pack?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Super satisfying.
Right. That's the chain support gem.
Okay.
And you know what's even better?
What's that?
Pair it with Pierce. Where the projectile goes through the enemy.
Okay. Yeah. Now you're turning your mercenary into a pinball of destruction.
Oh, wow.
Bouncing between enemies, multiple hits. It's beautiful chaos.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so that's great for crowd control, taking out multiple enemies. But what about those tougher single targets?
Good point.
Like, a big boss.
Yeah, especially if they've got high resistances.
Right.
That's where the elemental penetration gems come in.
Okay.
So let's say you've built your mercenary around fire damage.
Mm-hmm.
Fire penetration is going to be your best friend. Helps their attacks cut right through that enemy's fire resistance.
Okay, and same thing with cold penetration, lightning, all that.
Exactly. Adapt your penetration gem to your chosen element.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've covered a lot of specific gems, but how does all this fit into the bigger picture?
What do you mean?
Well, we've got unique items,
Right.
the passive skill tree, ascendancy classes.
Oh, yeah.
How do those choices influence our support gem decisions?
Oh, they're huge EE.
Okay.
Like, unique items can completely change your build. Right.
Which means which support gems make the most sense will change too.
Got it. So, for
For
example,
example, imagine you find this awesome unique bow that adds extra chaos damage to attacks.
Okay.
Well, suddenly, added chaos damage for your mercenary becomes way more appealing.
Right. Okay.
See how it all connects?
It all starts to come together. Yeah, so items can totally shift our gem priorities. Now, what about the passive skill tree?
Oh, the tree.
It's kind of overwhelming, isn't it?
It can be, especially when you're first starting out.
Yeah.
But remember, that tree is like this massive network of upgrades. And those upgrades can seriously affect your support gems.
Oh.
You can find nodes that increase projectile damage, boost elemental damage, attack speed, all sorts of things.
So we're not just picking gems in isolation.
No way. It's all connected.
We're thinking about our gear, our passive skills.
You're going to consider the whole package.
Yeah. A lot to think about. Now, one last thing. Ascendancy classes, those specialization choices, do they impact our support gem choices?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Each ascendancy kind of offers these like specialized paths on that skill tree.
Right.
So it shakes your build even further.
Right.
Some ascendancies give you bonuses to specific damage types. Others have unique interactions with certain support gems, making them even stronger.
So it really is all about finding those synergies between our gems, our gear, our passive skills, our ascendancy.
It's like a puzzle.
A very complex puzzle.
Yeah. But a fun one. Once you start seeing those connections, how everything fits together,
Right.
that's where it gets really exciting.
So to wrap things up, experiment.
Yes.
Pay attention to those synergies.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to adjust your support gem setup
Exactly.
as your build changes, as you level up.
Your mercenary will thank you for it.
Absolutely. Now, as you continue your journey in Path of Exile 2, you're going to face all sorts of challenges.
Oh, yeah.
Think about how your support gem choices can help you overcome those challenges. A boss with super high elemental resistance, a map filled with tons of fast-moving enemies.
All those situations.
Those gems can give you the edge.
That's right. Being able to adapt, that's key.
All right, well, that's it for our deep dive into support gems.
Yeah.
It's been a blast. Hopefully you learned a thing or two.
Definitely.
Most importantly, get out there, have fun, and decimate your enemies with your perfectly gemmed out mercenary.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks for listening.